Joining me now, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, member of the Armed Services, Intelligence, and Judiciary Committees, is also an Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran. Senator, good to have you here today. It's been fascinating to watch because we know that China is trying to dominate the globe, really, on the economy, their military, and now they also want to be sort of the power broker of diplomacy in the world, it appears.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's the case. Over the last 2 years, Joe Biden has put a kick me sign on the back of Uncle Sam. This is just another lesson. When America recedes from the world, we don't get peace and tranquility. We get chaos and war and adversaries acting against our interests. Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping are anti-American dictators. They didn't need Joe Biden to give them overlapping interests, but Joe Biden has given them opportunity to exploit America's receding from the world. You know, you look in China, for instance. Joe Biden came into office saying China is not a competitor of ours, and what do we get? Them sending a spy balloon across America and rattling sabers against Taiwan. Or in Russia, Joe Biden spent his first year in office appeasing Vladimir Putin, and what do we get? We get the first or the biggest land war in Europe since World War II, and we get them downing our aircraft over the Black Sea. These kind of weak actions just provoke and beget more aggression from our adversaries. And now you see Xi Jinping strutting across the world stage, trying to establish himself as a broker of peace among countries. It just gets back to one of the most basic rules of foreign affairs. Either you run the show or the show runs you. We've been used to running the show for many decades, but under Joe Biden, we're increasingly letting others run the show and let it run against us.
So that's exactly what Henry Kissinger told David Ignatius, essentially. Let's put this up on the screen. Over the longer run, this is Henry Kissinger quoted in this piece, Beijing's emergence as a peacemaker, quote, changes the terms of reference in international diplomacy. The United States is no longer the indispensable power in the region. Quote, China has in recent years declared that it needs to be a participant in the creation of the world order. And I think a new world order is the way that could be described. And when John Kirby was asked, is the president going to speak to Xi Jinping anytime soon? Here's what he said.
There is no call scheduled. While the president has made it clear he looks forward to another opportunity to speak with President Xi, we're not actively engaged in the logistics of setting that up right now.
Senator.
Yeah, again, this is an example of what happens when you recede from the world. Barely 2 years ago, former President Trump had helped broker peace, for instance, between Israel on the one hand and Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates and other Arab and African nations. We were hoping 2 years ago that we'd soon get a peace agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia brokered by the United States. Instead, under Joe Biden, what we've received is a normalization agreement between Saudi Arabia and Iran. All these countries around the world that prefer to work with America, that have been long-standing partners of America, like Saudi Arabia, like the United Arab Emirates, like Bahrain or Qatar or Jordan or Egypt, have security needs. They have threats that they face, primarily from Iran. Those security needs don't go away when America goes away or when the Democratic Party turns its back on longstanding allies, because they don't like the fact that some of these countries opposed President Obama's nuclear deal with Iran or that they worked with President Trump. Those security needs will simply be filled by other countries, our adversaries like China.
Senator Tom Cotton, always good to see you, sir. Thank you very much.